Hey friends, and welcome back to Copy and the Marketing Podcast, where I teach you how to write copy that sounds like you, but converts better. My name is Sam. I'm the founder and lead copywriter here at Nomad Copy Agency, and today we're talking about calls to action. Yes, again, we're talking about calls to action. Why? Because every piece of copy has a call to action in it. So we're going to talk today about what is a call to action, what do good calls to action look like, what do crappy calls to action look like, and what should we say on these buttons? Where do we place them? We're digging all the way in. If you listen to this episode and you're like, Sam, I want a swipe file of all of your calls to action, great. I have that available for you. It's, I think, $20. You can grab it at the link in the show notes. And they're called Clickable AF CTAs because we want your buttons to be clickable AF, okay? So let's dive in. First of all, what is a CTA or call to action? CTA, of course, stands for call to action. You guessed it, gold stars for you. What is a call to action? A call to action is a button or link that people click on that helps them take action on whatever it is that you are selling. Call to action can be on a free page. This is something like download it here. A call to action can be to something paid. All it is something that is clickable so that people stay in your ecosystem. It's important for people to click through your things for a lot of reasons. One, so that they land on the part where they're supposed to pay you or give you their information. You're running a business, not a sorority. We're not looking for friends here. We are looking to make money. So those calls to action get people to click to make you money. Also, from an SEO standpoint, we love calls to action. We love when people click through our website because it makes you more reputable to the algorithm gods, okay? So we want people to click. We want to have calls to action. We want people to navigate your site and for it to feel super freaking easy. I think we've all had that experience where we want to go out for dinner, we go to a restaurant's website, and we cannot find any information on this website other than like a form to fill out to contact them, when all you really need to know on that website is like, where's the menu? So we need a button for the menu. Are they open right now? We would love to have some hours, and then maybe like their address so that we can get there, right? So calls to action are not salesy, they are not bad, they are helping people navigate your business in the way that's most advantageous for them. So we need buttons, in the example of this restaurant, we need buttons so that people know where to click to get the information that they need to make a purchasing decision, so that they can show up at your restaurant or to your online business, okay? So that's what a call to action is. Some best practices with calls to action here. When we are talking about emails and web pages, we want buttons, not in-text links. Now you might say, Sam, but it's an email. Why do I need buttons in an email? A button makes sense visually on a sales page, but not in an email. Here's what I'll tell you is that a button in an email gets about 50% more clicks than an in-text link. When I say in-text link, what I mean is if I were to say, click here for more information, and click here is blue and underlined, that's an in-text link. Whereas a button would say something like, click here, and have like a different color background or something. Okay, so that's what a call to action is. A call to action is something clickable that people do to get closer to buying from you. Next question is then where do we put them? Because every piece of copy needs a call to action. If you want people to buy from you and stay in your world, even if it's a simple nurture email that's catching up with your list, you want people to have an opportunity to buy from you. Again, you're running a business, not a sorority. So we want people to click through and purchase. And we want those buttons to be really easy to find. So on any web page or any sales page, anything that is published on your website, you need a call to action above the fold. Above the fold is the first scroll of your website. So when people land there, 100% of people who land on that page are going to see things within the first scroll. It is the best real estate on your page. So whether it is your homepage, your about, your services, a sales page, an opt-in page, you want to have something that they can click that is visually very clear to them above the fold. Your services page, your about page. Even the things that quote unquote aren't selling anything should have a call to action above the fold. This again goes back to the reason why. One, we want to make it really easy for people to buy from you. And two, we want the algorithm to like you. So what does that maybe look like on an about page? That could say something like, hi, I'm Sam, your favorite copywriter. When you're ready to work together, click here. Or get started now. That's what your call to action says, is it gives people an action that they can take. because they are sussing you out as a person to see if you're somebody that they want to work with. So make sure that it's easy for them to get to work with. Or if you're showcasing your skills, you could say, see my portfolio here. Something that gives them another way to click around so that the algorithm likes you so that they get more entrenched in your world. So above the fold on every single page. Sales pages, it should be obvious. Your opt-in pages, homepage should take them somewhere else on your website. Every page that you publish should have a call to action button above the fold within the first scroll of the website. So that's in your above the fold. Second place, on your sales pages, this is where people get really tripped up. On your sales pages, you want to have multiple calls to action. Here's what I've seen happen too many times is that I'll go onto somebody's sales page, whether to rewrite it or to edit it inside of Copy on Demand, and I will get to that page, and they might have a call to action button above the fold, and then we have a problem section. And then we have another section, and then another section, and an about section, and an investment section. And only under that, once we've scrolled over halfway down the page, is there another opportunity to click to work with you. We want those calls to action probably every 2 to 3 sections so that people can click. And the reason for this is buyer psychology. If you're selling something that's over a certain dollar amount, typically anything over $500, people don't tend to purchase the first time they land on your site. They will purchase after multiple visit. So what we want to do there is we want to target them. If they're repeat visitors and they just came back so that they could buy, great, they've got a call to action button above the fold. If they needed to know exactly what was inside of your offer, then great, we want to have a call to action button next to the what's inside section on that sales page. However, there are sections on your sales page that we don't want to have a purchase button. We want people to take action when they are in a mindset of potential, not problems. So typically when you write a sales page, you're going to have your above the fold, you're going to have something about the transformation of what you're offering, and then you're going to go into a couple problem sections. We do not want to have call to action buttons in the problem sections because we don't want people taking action when they're in a place of fear. We want them to be acting from a place of potential. So that should help you decide where to put call to action buttons on a sales page. I would say every sales page needs to have at minimum a final call to action section that has a call to action button in it that says something like, hey, you made it this far down the page. If you don't act now, when will you join the program here? That will typically be at the bottom of the page. You're above the fold at the very top. And then at minimum, and this is if it's a short sales page, we're going to want to have another call to action in the investment section. If you have additional sections where you are helping people see what is possible for them when they purchase, then add more call to action buttons throughout.
Hey, Nadine Nethery here, your resident customer retention architect and one of Sam's biz besties. Sam has kindly allowed me to jump in for a sec with a personal invitation. The first ever retention games are just around the corner. Attending the games is free. It's happening from May 12th to 15th, and this is your chance to join over 20 experts behind the scenes of their most successful retention strategy. The best part, you get to vote for your favorite, possibly win prizes along the way, and help me crown the first ever Retention Games champion. Every session is under 15 minutes with no middle of the road advice in sight. And yes, Sam's stepping into the arena as one of the contestants, and she's bringing a not to be missed hack for you. Grab your spot via the link in the show notes now so you don't miss all the action. Hopefully, see you at the games.
Sales page. I want to add something here is that in the past, I have said that all of your call to action buttons should say the same thing. This was true several years ago, and I said this very publicly on a few podcasts that had thousands of views. I rescind what I previously said because buyer psychology does not change, but trends do. So typically in the past, what we would see is somebody would say, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now on all of their call to action buttons. What we want to do now is have those buttons be as conversational as possible. So for example, if you said, here's all of the benefits, then we would say, get these benefits here. So what goes on your call to action button should be relatively conversational depending on where it's at on your sales page. If you're not feeling creative, then it's totally fine to just say buy now on all of your call to action buttons, but don't be afraid to mix it up and have a little bit of fun. It's a great opportunity to add some personality. So that's where they should go on your website, is everywhere above the fold, on your sales pages, yes, above the fold, and throughout your page, just not in the problem sections. And then in your emails, where should your buttons go? Because again, you can have in-text links, but you want at least one button so that people know that this is an email that they click on. What I encourage you to do is go to your email inbox and find your most recent e-commerce email. Could be from your favorite shoe store, a local business, something. You're going to see a lot of buttons throughout. I use the example of Noble all the time. They are one of my favorite brands for lifting shoes. What they have throughout their emails is they will show a shirt and then a get the gear. And then they will have pictures of their shoes and say, find it in your size. And then they will have another section selling another one of their offers. There are a ton of photos and buttons with minimal text throughout because people know that a photo is worth 1,000 words and they can look at something and say, I want that, click here. There are multiple buttons throughout their sales emails. What their emails are not doing is giving us an update on how the CEO's recent vacation went, what they've learned recently. And by the way, here's an in-text link at the very bottom of the email saying, and if you're lifting this summer, buy my shoes, please. No. Again, we are running, I keep saying this, we're running businesses here, friends. So we want people to be able to click on our business stuff. So inside of your emails, what I recommend to all of my clients, because most of us are not running businesses that they're easy to photograph, because we're not running e-commerce stores. Everybody that I write for is a service-based business. We might have brand photos, but we're still a service-based business in general. In your emails, you want to have your calls to action be buttons that are clear on both a white or black background so that they're accessible even when people's phones are in night mode. We want to have a button in the first 50% of the email. We want it to be very clear that you want people to click on your email, and we want to make that clear by having a button laid out at the top. Again, we want buttons, not in-text links, because in emails, statistics show that buttons get clicked 3 times more than in-text links do. So there you have it. Those are most of my best practices on making sure that your stuff is clickable AF. If you want my full best practices guide, including swipes of what I put on my buttons and on my clients' buttons, you can grab that in the link in the show notes and grab clickable AF CTAs. And as a final tip here, what goes on your buttons should be positive. It should be forward thinking. So for example, we don't want to say something like, get the download. That's what you want them to do, is get the download. What your people want is to start or become something. So we could say, start budgeting now. We could say something like, become a copywriting baddie. See how those are more transformative, that people are going to become a good copywriter. They are going to start taking action. They're not doing a download. They're not getting a PDF. They're not buying now because, again, you want them to buy now. They want the transformation that you offer. So if you want the full list of what I would put in the text on those buttons, grab it at Clickable AF CTAs. Otherwise, just remember, we want buttons over in-text links. We want those buttons at the top of every email, every website, and every sales page. If you need somebody to take a look at your website, if you're not getting clicks, let me know. A great way to do that is to grab a Can You Write This For Me hour. Starts at $497 US. And in that hour, I can go through and audit and edit a sales page really well. We can improve your buttons, your button text, your button placement, as well as all of the other copy on your page. And if it's more in depth than that, you can grab 2 hours. If you have questions, reach out to me. You can find me at Samantha@nomadcopyagency.com, or you can find me on Instagram at nomad.copy. I can't wait to hear from you, and I hope you're getting hella clicks.